Welcome to the Munchkin Minute, your bi-weekly look into some tabletop gaming news and more. I'm your host, Dan, the Board Game Man, and it's your news for May 12th, 2025. So I just wanted to say, with all my releases, the dates and the prices, I'm usually just going on something I've read on the internet, and with tariff and stuff going on, prices are still going to vary when things come out, with prices going up and down in retail or Kickstarter. So there's no movement yet on any deals in a tariff. So as always, take my prices and release dates with a grain of salt. And again, with crowdfunding, buyer beware. Has become my motto with those. Also, news has been really scant, like I said last time lately, because everyone is moving release dates around or just really re-announcing Kickstarter games that they've already kind of released or kickstarted, and then they're bringing them into retail with no really dates available there. So I don't really want to recover those things. So I'm going to go into some things that I did get some solid dates on and such like that. First up was a bit of a tease we got this week from Seven Wonders Dice. Now, nothing has really been released in the way of information, but from a retailer site that I saw, we had a mock-up of the box and some rendered type images. It appears to be a roll and write, and it's said to be released in September. And I really hope to see this one having copies, maybe at Gen Con, and I'm sure in the next month or so, we'll see a lot more information on this one. But they always do a pretty good job with this one. And again, I know a lot of people have been saying they're tired of roll and write. I'm not really tired of them yet. They're still putting out some really interesting ones and flip and writes and stuff like that. So as long as they keep kind of expanding on what they do, then I think we won't worry about getting tired of them. So Gen Con and Essen releases have been announced by CGE, Czech Games Edition. First up is SETI, Space Agencies. This is for an expansion for SETI, which was my game of the year last year, and it's going to add player powers, new aliens to discover, Prelude type cards that you'll use, just kind of give you a little head start in that first round to make the first round a little less boring and stuff, and a lot more additions to the game. So this is an Essen release, but as always, and you'll hear me say this a million times over the next couple months, I'm really hoping we'll get some of this at Gen Con, as I'll be at Gen Con. I would really love to get my hands on this expansion. Next up, another expansion, Galaxy Trucker. Do what? This is an expansion for Galaxy Trucker, which adds 2 new modules. And this one also will actually be released at Gen Con. This one should be about $25 to $30. Now, they're talking about there being more opportunities to gain riches and new ways to destroy your rundown ship. The expansion features 2 big modules, 4 seasoned truckers, missions, and VIP astronauts, as well as a turn-based mode for a more laid-back experience. I'm not sure what that mode would be, because pretty much in the first kind of round, you're kind of playing it with no time limit, and everyone's just kind of doing it, I guess, in real time. But I guess with turn-based, I go pick one, you go pick one. And as much I know that it's frenetic and people that really are good at Galaxy Trucker will kill people that don't really know what they're doing, a turn-based mode may slow it down just a little bit too much, but the game is really one of my favorite games of all time, Galaxy Trucker. So look out for that expansion at Gen Con. And their third announced release is the new title called Wispwood. Very little information there outside of kind of being a tile drafting and tile laying game. And it is supposed to be releasing at Gen Con, 1-4 players, probably a lighter game. So I'm guessing kind of a drafting and then scoring through there, kind of a 1-hour wonder designed by Reed Ambrose. And that's the 3 games there for CGE. Direwolf is going to be releasing a new bag building train game by Paul Dennon, who has done Clank and in those games. So, and of course, the Dune Imperium games. But Paul is really good at bag building and kind of deck building, bag building. This one is called Lightning Train. That's going to be released at Gen Con. Not a whole lot. There's a couple of good pictures there, which I guess you'll be kind of building the bag with your chits. It says purchasing new chips opens up new strategic opportunities, but at a cost, and getting the most value out of deliveries available requires balance and careful planning. This is obviously a train game where you're building routes across 8 regions of North America. Looks great, and I know Paul can do a really good job with bringing his kind of way of doing things to a train game to kind of bring new life into the train universe, if you will. 2 new DC deck building game products were announced for August release. I think both of these were either kickstarted or released in kind of another form. So Cryptozoic is releasing Teen Titans Go deck building game for about $35, and a DC deck building game, Arkham Asylum, which I know was kickstarted sometime last year. That one should be about $55 and also has an expansion there. They're both standalone games, and they'll be released in August, so I'm sure they're going to see them at Gen Con. Now, the Teen Titans Go the crowd, that one, I believe it was also in the Cartoon Network deck building game, had the Teen Titans Go. That Cryptozoic put that one out a few years ago. It was a real fun set. It had a little bit of all the different kind of Cartoon Network, kind of IPs in there. And of course, it had the Teen Titans Go in there. And of course, the DC deck building game, the Arkham Asylum one is going to change things up just a little bit and has all the DC villains that you know and love, from Joker to Harley to Riddler and the rest of the Arkham crew. Now, I've always said that DC deck building game is likely my favorite of all the deck building games. It's up there with Ascension and Legendary. It's just an amazing system. It uses that Cerebus engine that I know it's not much different than a lot of the other engines, but basically it's just more of one of these, just one resource. It's not like a million different types of resources. It's one resource and go, which makes the Cerebus engine one of the most simple yet kind of elegant and really good designs out there. So hot off the heels of what seems like that Kickstarter was just yesterday. So Restoration Games, feels like we just had this one, but is now releasing the game. So this is Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is going to be into retail. This one I did get a good date. So this is going to be in July and should be about $80. And I know I did back this one. I can't wait to get my hands on this one. I'm absolutely psyched about this one release. I'm sure I'll get Justin Jacobson back on the Geek All Stars real soon to talk about this release as well. And I know they've got a lot of really cool things in the pipeline. And being in the industry for a long time and being a lawyer, he's got a lot of good insights on the tariffs and stuff. I know I saw him on the Secret Cabal talking about the tariffs, so check that episode out as well. Capstone Games is going to be releasing an expansion to Pirates of Maracaibo called Pirates of Maracaibo Commanders. This one should be out sometime this month. I believe it's about $25 or $35. And I think that's around the price of the base game. So it's interesting. So there should hopefully a lot of stuff in this box. Now, Pirates of Maracaibo kind of distills down Maracaibo into kind of a card-based game, but yet still has a lot of that same fun to it, where you're kind of moving across the Caribbean in your boat and then doing different things as you land on cards. Unfortunately, it kind of almost replaces Maracaibo, which is a game I really love anyway, but it does distill down that whole, just such a long game into a shorter game, but it's still really, really fun. And you can play this one also on BGA. But this new expansion, again, 1 to 4 players, plays in about, about 30 to 45 minutes, or actually probably about 30 minutes to an hour. It says on BGG, with your expertise, you now represent a notorious ship commander whose special abilities bring even more tactical finesse to the game. In addition, you can now equip your ship with cannons to gain access to fortifications on certain islands, which will bring more cards and more things out there, because there, of course, are riches to be found. So expanding the game, kind of more player powers and more things you can do with your board, just bringing more of a good thing to Pirates of Maracaibo. Later this month, be on the lookout for some really cool dice sets from Serious Dice. Now, Dungeons & Dragons, Xanthar's Treasures, each one of these kind of blind sets are going to be about $20. Now, they're random sets of 7 dice. You'll have a dice, a coin, and a dice bag in each one of these. Now, some rare, common, uncommon, super rare, and even legendary sets are out there as well. So I'm a sucker for dice. And even though $20 seems a bit steep, I'm probably going to grab one of these for myself and my daughter once I see these out in retail. But I'll have a link to that where you can pre-order or buy these as well. But it looks really cool, and I'm just such a sucker for dice. Got a little bit of a sale alert here. Renegade Game Studios has a sale going on now, and one game in particular I wanted to highlight. So Renegade Games has Gravwell 2nd edition on sale for $27. Now, this game is an old school one, probably about 10 or 12 years old. It's been around for a while, but it's an amazing game. And Renegade put out the 2nd edition, just kind of bringing a little bit more art and a little bit better to the minis and such. It's a great quick game. It's a 1-hour wonder. It's got an amazing kind of card drafting and kind of the way the cards in your ships kind of bounce off each other, kind of using kind of the gravity to propel yourself throughout the universe to get out of the singularity. It's just one of my old school favorites. It's a really great game, and $27 is an amazing price. So I just wanted to highlight that for you out there as well. Quick digital news, Flamecraft Digital has been announced. Now, Flamecraft is a wildly successful game just because it's the simplicity and just an easy kind of get resources, turn them into stuff with a really cute game. Just a very, very light, very basic game, good family weight game, but the art is amazing. So this should be pretty cool to see out in digital. And I'm sure like a lot of different things, they'll have different ways of playing the game and different challenges and such, and probably have, multiplayer since it will be out on Steam. Let's head on over to the Adam Spotlight. Now, this week I want to talk about two great guys. Steven, the Nashville board gaming guy, is up first. He's an amazing Instagram content creator with some great coverage of new and old games. He's an absolutely infectious personality and a love of games that shines through in everything he does. I absolutely love this guy. I'll have a link to his Instagram. He puts up a lot of great content, constantly putting up new stuff. So definitely check him out for great games and coverage. And the second one, Roll for Crit. I love Will. He's another guy in the reviewer industry doing some great videos, reviews, and previews of games. Will is amazingly knowledgeable, not only about games in general, but about the industry as a whole. And he's real fun to have long conversations with about games, publishers, designers, you name it. He's great to talk about, and his content is good as well. Just got a few crowdfunding, not a whole lot really good to cover out there, but I did want to cover these two really quickly. So first up, Shallow Regrets. I can't pass up anything that Jason Tagmeyer and Button Shy does, but this is Shallow Regrets. This is kind of the 18 card version of Deep Regrets, which came out last year, and it's really good. Man, the game is so good. But this one here, $12 to get in, as usual, on these Button Shy games. It says, strange fish swim beneath your boat, things with too many eyes, too many teeth. These eldritch anomalies are worth a small fortune, provided you've got a dauntless heart and an iron stomach. These games are just so good. Every one of these 18 card games is a lot of fun. Get on this one pretty quick. It's already obviously funded, but there's only a few days to get on this one as of recording, so you might want to get on this one pretty quick. I'm sure there'll be late pledges as always, but definitely check that one out. And the second one I've got here for Kickstarter is Food Truck Race, a simultaneous play cooking game. This is kind of an indie publisher or designer, Gregory Alford. I do like what he did because I was making a dice-based kind of dice drafting food truck kind of race game myself. And this one kind of reminds me a lot of it, a little bit different kind of, but this one is a simultaneous play cooking game, with the food truck. It's only $45. You can get in on this one. I believe it is already well-funded. It's got about 2.5 weeks to go. I really like his personality and his enthusiasm for this game. It has a lot of really cool things going on in the game, kind of the way the dice rolling, the drafting, kind of using everything and having a little bit of a race there as well. So definitely check that one out. Food Truck Race, a simultaneous play cooking game, because it looks pretty solid as well. Just one from GameFound, and this is a heavier one. We're switching because those first two are pretty light. This has got about a week and a half to go. This one is Cassius Belli, I think it's Cassius Belli. This is from Wallace Designs. This is a Martin Wallace game, so you know it's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's a 4X design. It looks like that is a neoprene mat, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it's an epic 4X space game of exploration, settlement, warfare between asymmetric factions. Everything I said right there is just food for just the lovable things of everything I love. 4X, asymmetric, Martin Wallace, there's going to be cubes of death and things in that as well. It plays over 7 to 9 rounds, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. Only $69 as well. I do love 4X games, especially in space. So I love that more and more people are just trying to make the TI4 light out there, because TI4 obviously, 4 to 12 hours. And this is another one where it's probably going to only take place in a couple hours. But it looks great. Has a lot of the great things you want to check out. I'm always up for a good 4X game, especially one that's designed I'm up for almost any of these 4X games, but especially now, Martin Wallace does a great job at his design. So that's going to be a solid one to check out. So I can't wait to hopefully play this one at some point next year when it comes out. Thanks for joining me today. If you see any news you think I'd like to feature, shoot me a message at GeekJockDan on Twitter or Instagram. Please also check out Majorspoilers.com for more great content by Steven and the rest of the Major Spoilers crew. And of course, check out my show, the Geek All-Stars podcast. Like I said earlier, find me as the Geek All-Stars on Instagram. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see everyone in another couple of weeks for another Munchkin Minute.
This podcast is copyright 2025 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.